Alright. So this is Siberia. Quite a change of pace from the previous levels. All the previous levels were, well, fairly different, I guess. You know, you start out on the dam, and then you're inside the facility, and then you're on the runway. But this one's quite a bit different. Out in the big open level, well, it felt really big at the time. Out in the snow. And you see Bond in his different outfit. He has different outfits depending on what missions you're on. Like, well, there's levels, and then each level will be part of a mission. And I remember using the outfits as a way to tell how far I was in the game. But I do think they gave him a weird outfit for this level. This weird parka-looking thing with a huge hood. I like that they gave him that, because it doesn't look badass at all. It looks kind of comical, actually. But none of this occurs in the movie. None of this. And before I had watched the movie, I had played the game first. Now, I didn't beat the game before I ended up watching the movie. But I had gotten this far, at least. And I remember when I finally watched the movie, I was looking forward to seeing this scene. I was looking forward to seeing Bond in this outfit and watching him go through the snow with a sniper rifle and all that, but no, none of that happens. This is completely non-canonical. There are some things, some levels and some things that James Bond does in this game that don't happen in the movie at all, but I guess that doesn't really matter. It follows the movie as closely as it could for a game with no voice acting, with very limited programming. I remember that there was a screenshot of when I was shooting the explosive barrels next to the guards. There's a screenshot showing the sniper's rifle zoomed up like that in the strategy guide that I had, telling you to use the explosive barrels to blow enemies up. And this structure has no purpose. It surely had to have had a purpose in the beta, but it has no purpose. You can blow up those explosive barrels there if you want. It's kind of cool, but it has no purpose. But I did used to go up onto that structure and just snipe guards infinitely, because guards just infinitely spawn. There's some that just pace around. Well, they have their way out that they walk, the rounds they make, I guess, like how you saw the guard just walking holding his AK-47. I don't know why I pulled out the cloth here. It's a pretty bad gun. But for the most part, guards just come running at you, and I'm fairly certain that they're all infinitely spawning. So there's a Commandant, and there's a grenade launcher. The Commandant in this level actually does something different. He drops a key. You needed him for something. He seemed to have something special. Well, he didn't seem to have something special. He just did have something special, a key that you need to complete an objective. And he's in a room with a grenade launcher. The Commandant in the first level drops nothing but a different gun. Oh yeah, and that Commandant didn't drop a DD4. I think he's the only one that doesn't. He dropped a Club, which is really crappy. And I hear people with sniper rifles shooting at me. You also, it's kind of hard to see because I killed him so fast, but the Commandant's not wearing a hat. And you can actually see his hat in one of the huts in the level, which I think is interesting. Which I thought was Oromov's hat for a long time. So now I'm inside the communications bunker. And all it has is one terminal. And when you turn off, it goes home. I really liked that sound effect as a kid. I just thought it fit the level really well because the music's really laid back in the level. And I just think that the really fits the level well, and I've just always been very aware of that sound effect. This is also a cool area to go up and snipe guards. But I thought the communications bunker was really cool at first, but I still thought it was cool for a long time afterwards, but now I'm so aware of how empty it is, and just there's one computer terminal. They could have done something more interesting with it. But again, for its time, this was pretty interesting. And this is nothing like the communications bunker in the movie. In the movie, this is where Natalia is, and a whole bunch of people, and Zinnia, whatever her name is, and Oromov show up and kill everybody that works there, and Natalia barely survives. And they set the Goldeneye, which is some sort of satellite missile or laser, something like that, to launch Something like that. I haven't seen the movie in a while. And that's the exit out of the level. And what I'm going over to right now, the helipad. Like, I get lost in this level fairly easy. When I was a kid, I got lost in the level like crazy. And that guy just wouldn't die. Sometimes you'll come across guards that just won't die. But I was actually thinking that I could get in here for some reason. This is the entrance to another level later on. But all it does is set off an alarm. But I'm kind of glad I set off the alarm because it shows off the alarm guards. I really like the alarm guards in this game, especially as a kid. Now, I was thinking the alarm guards would come out of the bunker there. I think that would have been cool if they did, but they don't. They just spawn in the level. But alarm guards wear different clothes than the regular guards, and they normally use 2 Klobs or 2 DD4s, and sometimes a KF-7 Soviet. They normally have sunglasses on, as well as they take a lot more damage. So alarm guards on 00 Agent are definitely something to avoid. But I remember I used to set off the alarms on purpose to get the 2 DD4s. So I figured I'd try and use the grenade launcher here, but it doesn't shoot like you think it would. It does this arcing kind of thing. You have to arc the grenade to make it shoot, to make it explode effectively. You have to shoot it up into the air, and it arcs and drops down. It doesn't just shoot in front of you, and it has very short range. And it's a really weird looking weapon. This is one of the only levels that has it. I remember when I was playing this level with my dad, like, you know, the very first time I ever played the level, probably, or one of the very first. We didn't even realize we picked up the grenade launcher, and then we just suddenly had it. And we were both like, whoa, what the hell is that gun? And yeah, you get some cool exploding animations. It almost looks like ragdoll physics if you kill an enemy with an explosion. But yeah, we were both just like, what the fuck was that? And then, you know, we didn't know what it would do, so we started shooting it, and then suddenly it was shooting explosions, and we're like, oh, it's a grenade launcher. This guy's kicking my ass. I was just playing really carelessly to show off the grenade launcher. But also, I wanted to use it. Alarm guards eventually despawn. I'm not sure how long it takes for them to despawn. So the Commandant's key, you have to use his key to open up a hut to get another key to open up a safe. The objectives in this game don't matter. They're all MacGuffins. They're just a, you know, reason for you to go here and shoot these people for the most part. A lot of these huts are empty. This is a fairly bland and empty level, but when it was new, this was a vast, crazy level like the water level in Mario 64. That level felt fucking huge. I should have shot that thing with a grenade launcher, but instead I just did this. I'm not sure why. It's just because you can make everything blow up, even the table, though. There's no explosion, but it makes an explosive sound effect. That guy was sitting there waiting for me. When I was a kid, I thought these guys' uniforms were awesome. I liked that they wore masks. I just thought that was really cool as a kid when people wore masks like heroes or superheroes, I mean, or just enemies in games and shit like that, like Cobra and the G.I. Joe. I just thought that was cool. And the sky moves in this level, I'm noticing, which was really innovative for the time. The sky was originally pure white in the beta. Like how the sky really is if you've ever been in an area that's covered in snow. Like I used to live in Utah, and there were times where it was just completely covered in snow, the entire state, for several months at a time, most of the year, honestly. And the sky would be pure white. And I like the look of the beta sky better, although I do like the look of this sky quite a bit. I like the pink clouds and all that move through the sky. It looks really cool. It really fits the level. I don't think it's out of place, and I don't think they made a bad decision. I think most of the beta was originally better. I think most of the beta ideas were better than what they ended up with, but I wouldn't so much call this better as much as I would call it. It's a good choice, but I just think the original was cooler. So there are the plans you have to steal, and there's the Commandant's hat. You'll steal those same plans again in another level. And when I was a kid, I felt like this area over here with the 2 bunkers, because you don't have to go to them on Agent, and I played the game on Agent first when I was a kid, because it was the only difficulty level I could play on. And this area just felt really vast, like very deep and very challenging. It felt like I was very deep in the level, and then there was a camera right there. And if you don't shoot the camera fast enough, it sets off an alarm. I remember the alarm would get set off, and I was just really freaked out to be back here. I also thought it was really cool to be back here. And that hut, all it has are these giant gas tanks that explode that aren't really in any other level. And then here's a throwback to the cut motorcycle from Runway, and just some other objects. And if you shoot some of those crates, a bunch of books come flying out of them, although I've forgotten about that at this point. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this level. The only thing to note about it, really, oh man, I'm about to die. But one of the only things to note is this level has one of the only things left to note is that this level has snipers, and it's like not just you have a sniper rifle, but there are sniper guards in the level. And they were originally supposed to use those guard towers up there, but the AI wouldn't function right. They couldn't program that correctly. And it would have been really cool if the snipers did go up there and shoot at you. I think it would have been cool if every guard tower had a sniper in it. Because now they're just like, why are these guard towers there? You can use them, but you don't really need to. So, yeah, it's kind of disappointing what the level could have been, but it's still a decent level. It's not one of my favorites, but I do like it. And I thought this was really cool as a kid, breaking into the base, and the fact that the base was underground out in Siberia was really cool to me. I like shooting off the locks, and down there is actually a room in the next level, and I just thought that was really cool. I thought it was cool how he drops down. I always liked that he was always aiming his gun very cautiously. And I like the sound effect right there, just the wind blowing. It's kind of eerie. It's pretty cool. Fairly simple level. Pretty innovative for its time, although I took a lot longer on it than I should have. Alright, so here's something I just threw in because I used to do it as a kid all the time. Jump down and shoot a grenade and survive. I just thought that was cool to do and it looked cool. And also like the smoke clearing as he jumps down into the base.